What is up, everyone? Dan here, Crypto Capital Venture, February 6th, 2019. I hope everybody's doing well. I'm just feeling pumped today. I don't know what it is, but I hope you're feeling pumped as well. This is a live stream. This is going to be longer than a 6 or 7 minute video like most of my videos. So if you're a replay viewer and you do not like that, leave now. But if you're open to the idea, see the timestamps, the pinned timestamps in the pinned comments below to go right to that piece of the video that you would like to. For instance, if you want to go right to the Abra news, see the timestamp below. If you want to go right to the BTC charts, see the timestamps below. I make it easy for you. I put in that extra work for you. I try to avoid all the hate comments because I do a video that's over 20 minutes. What's up, everybody? I hope everybody's doing well. I am pumped today. I don't know what it is, everybody. I just don't know what it is. I'm feeling good. And I wanted to do a live stream, talk about what's going on right now in the crypto space, take a little break from my day, take a little break from recruiting for the day, and say what's up to everybody. I see some people in here already. So what's up? Randy, John Red, Walter, Ocean M, Steve Schmitz, Perosi, questions, answers, Dan Best. What's up, everybody? Appreciate everybody coming by today. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Things are about to get crazy as we enter into the next year, which I believe will bring us into new markets, into a continued upward price trend. Time will tell, of course, but we have some time to go. So in this live stream, we are going to talk about Bitcoin Twitter. You see it, Bitcoin Twitter overtaking crypto Twitter, the hashtag. We're going to talk about Abra, the Abra news that came out. And we're going to talk about Bitcoin price a little bit. And as you can see, it's on the screen, zoomed out on the charts a little bit. A little bit of ways to go, perhaps. A little bit more building, perhaps, which is partly why I'm pumped up. I love it. I love this phase. I love the quietness in the atmosphere on Twitter and YouTube and just in cryptocurrency in general. So bear with me. We're going to hop into price in a little bit, but I do want to start with a couple pieces of news. Number one, I want to start by going over this quick tweet with everybody. So if you're a replay viewer, if you're here right now, you want to leave a comment. I tweeted a little bit ago. I said, I've been compiling a list of guests to have on Crypto Capital Venture in the coming weeks and months. Anyone in particular you'd like to see on the channel. So here we have, this first comment, Charlie Lee. We have David Schwartz, somebody requesting David Schwartz, who was just on the channel not too long ago. We'll definitely get him on again. It's my boy right there. Anthony Pompliano. And then, the list goes on. So if you're in here, you want to see somebody in particular, throw some ideas out there. I'll try and start recruiting some guests to get on this channel. I want to spice up this channel a little bit. I've done mostly TA for the last year, and I really want to start integrating some other perspectives, some other minds in the space, because there is a lot of knowledge out there that I can't offer you. I can't. I'll just throw that out there. I can't offer you, and I want to get those people on this channel. Check it out. This is like kind of like, if you're on Twitter, you've seen this kind of taking over a little bit. Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey becomes latest to take Bitcoin's lightning torch. The lightning torch on Twitter, if you've seen it, is essentially people on Twitter passing around invoices to make a payment via Lightning Network. And this is part of it. Twitter CEO, co-founder, Jack Dorsey. Let's check out this article just to give some context to what we're looking at. Bitcoin's lightning torch saw none other than Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey snatch up the ongoing payment experiment and pass it on Tuesday. As CoinDesk reported today, users have been passing around a so-called lightning torch, a running game wherein each participant adds a little Bitcoin to a payment, then passes it on to someone on Twitter that they trust in order to spread awareness of the technology, widely seen as the future of Bitcoin payments since payments are fast and scalable. With Dorsey's participation, the payment has now reached roughly 2.8 million Satoshis, worth nearly $100 at the time of press. To date, roughly 150 people have taken part in what has become a global exercise. First off, it's a sick little game going on, right? It's awesome. Passing around this Lightning Network torch. And you can see co-founder, Twitter CEO, Jack Dorsey involved in that happening. What's interesting to me is I've had conversations in the past of, cryptocurrency being integrated into social networks like Twitter, like Facebook, right? So, adding tips via cryptocurrency towards a good tweet, for instance. And I feel like when things like this happen, you have Jack Dorsey really involved right now into this Lightning Network torch. That becomes more of a reality in my idea. And I think he even actually said it was a good idea, right? Integrating cryptocurrency tips or cryptocurrency type of integration into Twitter. So really interesting to see kind of what happens there. And you can actually see how he ended this, how this article ends. Speaking at CoinDesk's annual consensus conference last year, he said he hopes that Bitcoin will become the internet's native currency. So there you have it. I tweeted the other day talking about, speaking to that talking point, but saying Litecoin well positioned to be the internet's native currency. Many people disagree with that, and that's fine. But I do believe Litecoin is just as well positioned as Bitcoin, as maybe lacking some brand awareness, but either way, still very well positioned. So let's take a look. I wanted to go over some of these tweets. We have Jack Dorsey's Twitter. Kind of, you can see as of the last couple of days, kind of starting to become very crypto heavy. He retweeted this first tweet by Matt Odell that said, "Yo, Jack, are you ready to carry the torch? Send me an invoice for 2.8 million Satoshis." And then that's kind of where it snowballed. Jack retweeted, "Cool example of Bitcoin Twitter experimenting on the Lightning Network. Torch received, now passing along to Starkness." And he passed that on to Elizabeth Stark. And it just, you kind of scroll through his Twitter and you can see him speaking to more of this Bitcoin talk. He retweeted this by Steven Zhang. "Jack implemented 280 characters on Twitter to allow Lightning Network invoices. Change my mind." And you can see here's an invoice, Lightning Network invoice. That's what it looks like. And it's crazy because it's a really good point about the characters, the length of characters implemented by Twitter pretty recently. I forget when, but Jack said, well, ... If you're wondering what Jack Dorsey owns, he says he only has Bitcoin. So, I mean, I believe him. He says, "Love these experiments. Lessons here that go beyond finance and currency." And you can see it, just very involved right now in the Bitcoin Twitter talk. And Bitcoin Twitter taking over crypto Twitter, by the way, #wise right now. Don't know if it'll last, but definitely happening. So here's the tweet I was just talking about. Amjad Masad said, "Imagine a world where you can tip people with Satoshis for their tweets. I bet content quality will go up. Jack, make it happen." And Jack actually replied and said, "Love the idea." So there you have it. The integration of cryptocurrency, the integration of Bitcoin, maybe one day Litecoin, right, on something like Twitter. And I think it's only a matter of time before it happens. And surely time will tell. So really interesting conversation going on right now. Jack Dorsey being at the center of that, Twitter being at the center of that, involved in terms of crypto. And it's always nice to see these things happen, right? Isn't it, when price is down, when so many people are out of the space right now, it's awesome to see some cool things happening. It's like a little bit of entertainment. I have this picture up because I saw somebody calling out Elon Musk to carry the Lightning Network torch, and I thought this was a great picture. if there's anybody that I would love to see getting heavily involved in the crypto space and even getting on board with this lightning torch on Twitter, it would definitely be Elon Musk. That's an epic picture. This was, I believe, at Joe Rogan's studio. I think the day of his last podcast he did with Joe Rogan. So let's see. I have a feeling he's going to do it. I really do. Time will tell. Ocean M says, when was David Schwartz in the channel? David Schwartz was on the channel right around when Litecoin sponsored the UFC. I don't remember when was that, like month and a half ago or so. David Schwartz was on the channel. And he's been on the channel a few times in the last year. So next piece of news, Abra wallet introduces Bitcoin investment option for stocks and ETFs. What do you guys think about this? What do you think about this? I got one comment like, oh yeah, let me use my Bitcoin to buy exposure to Apple or other stocks, being sarcastic. Many people not keen on that idea. However, I think this platform, I think this vehicle of purchasing exposure to stocks and ETFs is very interesting. So digital wallet Abra has introduced new features enabling global investors to invest in shares and exchange traded funds, ETFs, using Bitcoin. I mean, simple concept, right? Simple, powerful concept. Those assets reportedly include major stocks such as Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Google, Netflix, commodities such as SPDR Gold Trust, ETFs like Vanguard Growth, and the S&P 500, and indexes like the Russell 2000 and others. According to the press release, stocks and ETFs investment features in the Abra platform are based on a new investing model called crypto collateralized contracts, or C3s, which allows investors to make investments in any assets by using Bitcoin and smart contracts. I think it's incredibly interesting. Abra is probably one of my top favorite startups in the crypto space. I like the way they operate. I really do. And I like their ideas, and I like how they roll things out. Tech publication Hard Fork explains that Abra makes money through the addition of its new feature by charging a spread when the cryptocurrencies are exchanged, essentially a charge based on the difference between an asset's lowest and highest prices at the time of the trade. So, you know, that's no different to how they operate now, right? So it was kind of a little bit of a debate. Some people not too happy how Abra advertises zero fees, but yet they're making money on a spread on the back end, right? You know, they're a business. They need to make money somewhere. And so this is how they do it. They make money on the spread, whether you're exchanging crypto for crypto, and now they make money on that spread. They charge based on the difference between assets lowest and highest price at the time of the trade, and that applies to how it's going to work with stocks, ETFs, and all that good stuff right now. So comparable to owning a fraction of a Bitcoin, Abra customers are expected to be able to purchase fractions of high-priced stocks and ETFs, the announcement states. I think it's awesome. And you can go to their website. You can actually go to abra.com and you can sign up. For early access. I signed up. When I signed up, there were like 6,000 people already signed up for early access. Just put your email in. I guess they keep you in the loop in terms of launching, but you can see it on the screen. Can I zoom in on that? I don't know. I don't think I can zoom in on that for you, but it looks crazy within the Abra app. You see Amazon, Apple, Coca-Cola, Facebook. I want no part of Facebook. I'm not a big fan of Facebook. Abra allows you to securely invest in 30 cryptocurrencies, 50 fiat currencies, very soon global stocks and ETFs, all from one app. Fund your account and start investing by using bank, transfer wire, credit debit card, or supported cryptocurrencies. Dude, I just love their brand. I think they do a great job. Bill Barheit doing an awesome job running that company. And the team is just nice. The team is nice to talk to, nice to work with. Their customer support is ridiculous. You would think I'm being paid to talk up Abra so much, but I'm not. I like their company. I like their model. So Go check it out if you haven't. I think it's big news. It's crazy how you have so mid to late 2017, if we had something like this happen, and you had something like Twitter CEO, right, tweeting and getting involved in the Lightning Network live on Twitter, price would have moved, right? So it's very interesting to see that things like this not moving price as of now, and you really can get a sense of, you know, what cryptos are doing amidst all of these things in the last 24 hours. Literally nothing, actually down a little bit. I have Litecoin highlighted just because I'm always tracking Litecoin, always tracking that flattening, which occurred, I think, once yesterday, maybe twice, right? In front of Bitcoin Cash and then behind it again. Struggling a little bit to take over. I'm really waiting. I think the time will come, Litecoin seeing that number 4 spot once again sometime soon, but time will tell. But we can check out Bitcoin on Google Trends. So again, big news coming out this week in terms of the Jack Dorsey tweets as well as Abra, and just different vibes, right? So if this news that came out in the last 24 hours happened back here in late 2017, that's when those things were moving price like crazy. And it's very interesting to see that it's not doing anything right now. And we're just going to keep, every once in a while tracking this Bitcoin on Google Trends. I think it's extremely interesting to watch and very synergistic with the charts from a technical analysis standpoint. And when we start seeing an uptick in price, whenever that is, right? There are no guarantees. Maybe it'll never happen. I don't know. But when if we do start seeing an uptick in price, I think we're going to see this Google Trends start to kind of do something similar to what it did in spring of 2017 and forward. So time will tell. Let's see. But now we're into the charts here. It only took 17 minutes, and we're into the charts. I don't know. What do you guys think of this? We zoom out on the charts so much on this channel, especially when we begin technical analysis. We zoom out on the charts to really, actually I do it for one main reason. It's for my own purpose, which is patience. I'm trying to attain as much patience as possible. As an investor, just a little bit of history, I've never been the most patient person, right? It got me in trouble in the real estate boom a little over 10 years ago. Not having patience, FOMOing in also at the top of some crazy house prices, and it got me in trouble. Prior to that, probably 5 years prior, not even, got me into trouble as an investor in the stock market. The lack of patience, a very spontaneous person. So I like to think it's been a slow progression of maturity for me personally to learn this lesson of patience. And I am so thankful for my failures in the past that have led me to a year where we have this new technology now, maybe in the last 25% of its downtrend, right? So maybe we're 75% there in terms of this bear market. I could be wrong. Could be less, could be more. But I'm very thankful that I have a different mindset now than I did in 2006, 2007. And it's definitely allowed me to be patient through this time, which is this downtrend that you see on the screen. And you can go back in the last year, we've been covering this entire downtrend. And we've all have grown thicker skin in terms of it. But one thing is for sure, the data that we have on the screen that you see zoomed out, going back, this chart literally goes back. You can see it to that first week in July. So July 12th, 2010, you see that week all the way. Actually, you don't see it. It's going off the screen, but there it is. And you can see very solid data in terms of what Bitcoin is doing. And so we can start with the most simple data point, which everybody talks about all the time, and it is these halvings. So we have a 2012 halving that you see on the screen back here. We have a 2016 halving that we have on the screen back here. We have the future 2020 halving that we have kind of coming up. And if we only use those data points alone in terms of analyzing and even anticipating a future move for Bitcoin, those are great starting points for any technical analysis that wants to zoom out on the charts. So let's look at it real quick. Can't talk about it enough. I'll throw it out there. Maybe some of you are sick of me talking about it. Maybe some of you are sick of me zooming out on the charts, but I do it almost every day, whether I'm doing a video on technical analysis or not. I look at where we are. I remind myself where we are. I remind myself where we can get to. And it's extremely important in terms of that patience and accumulation approach. So I wanted to throw a new data point out there that we haven't talked about too much, which is we've talked about this. We've talked about leading up to each halving, the last two halvings at least. Bitcoin, saw a rise in price leading up to the halving. That doesn't necessarily mean that the bull market was in full effect, right, at that halving. In fact, after the last two halvings, nothing crazy in terms of gains happened immediately. And what I mean by that is you can see this halving back in 2016, we actually had, some quick gains, but you see the leveling off immediately after that happened. Nothing crazy happening. It's not like we entered this parabolic area. That didn't happen until months later. So I just want to point that out. If you're waiting for the halving to happen in, 2020 and you think Bitcoin's going to go parabolic right away, that's definitely most likely not even the case. It could happen, but I don't think it's the case. I don't think that's what we should be looking at. One thing I think we should be looking at is the context of leaving and exiting this bear market that you see on the screen up here. I'm drawing this green line, right? This bear market bottom, this range that we've been talking about, so similar to this last bear market range for its bottom. So I think we can use the halvings as context for the exit out of this bear market. And what we can do is we can go back the last couple halvings and we can say, okay, Bitcoin started really making a nice rise around 200 days, actually, before the halving. And you can see it back in 2012, leading into that 2012 halving, like some really nice gains. And we can actually measure it real quick just to get some quick context. 130% gains, around 150% gains, the 200 days leading into that halving. And then here we have gains leading into the 2016 halving, right? Going back probably a little bit more than 200 days, but like these few weeks right around September before the halving, we can measure another around 150% gains leading into that halving. Now, let me throw this out there. The parabolic gains, those were not the parabolic gains in either instance. The parabolic gains came weeks after the 2012 halving, which you see here, and then weeks or months after the 2016 halving, which you see here. So if this trend continues for Bitcoin, you definitely need some patience. This is a tradingview.com chart, and this is a chart that I did, a couple months ago or so. And that's the chart I'm using. I just saw somebody ask. So taking all of that into account, we can actually take 200 days before the next halving as a reference point, at least with the data that we have. We want to analyze that data and kind of get an idea of what potentially we might have to wait for in terms of some, higher highs in the market. And we're looking at right now around October of next year. Can we start exiting this bear market quicker? 100% yes. But this bottom range that we're in, I think it's extremely important that you know that you might have some time for accumulation. the crypto space is getting extremely quiet. If you're on Twitter, especially, you know this, you see this. It's almost like, I feel like when I go on Twitter, it's like the same handful of people almost. Like it has shrunk so much, the space. People have left. And right now we are in this bottom phase of builders building and long-term investors that have some thick skin holding and accumulating. And so what we're looking for now is to exit this bottom range. And I think some of the sweetest context we have for that happening is what happens now, which is February 2019 to October of 2019, which is literally right here. And interestingly enough, before I did this chart months ago, this arrow I have leaving the bear market in August of 2019. You see that arrow right there. And I don't know, it will be interesting to look back on this chart in a few years and see if we were right, see if we were wrong in terms of the exit of this bottom. But I think one thing's for sure, I think if you're going to measure your risk for an investment, I love the mix of risk versus reward for the cryptocurrency space right now, especially now. And you can get a really strong sense of Bitcoin on the weekly chart and the opportunity at play. Could Bitcoin fail? Yeah, actually it could. Could cryptocurrency space fail? Yeah, I mean, it could. Do I think it will? No, I don't. I think, especially now in these days, as builders are building and businesses are building true models around the crypto space, I think it's becoming more and more assured that crypto is here to stay. Regulations will obviously play a part in this, but look at the weekly. Just look at the weekly RSI, these pink lines, the momentum of Bitcoin on the weekly charts. It's mind-boggling how it's not mind-boggling. It actually is. It speaks to human nature. It speaks to human behavior. But let's go to Google Trends and talk about this for a second. We have Bitcoin all-time high Google Trends December 17th to December 23rd. So December 17th to the 23rd. Let's look at that on this chart. This is going to be sweet. This is what I do in my spare time. This is what I do. I'm on Google Trends. I want to see human, this is probably this is what fascinates me in this space. Human behavior, human emotion, the social impact of people that they have on each other. And this is it right here. December 17th, December 23rd, all-time high Google Trends. People going crazy, people buying. Now let's look at what that is on this chart from a technical perspective. December 17th, what did I say? December, here we go. It's literally, it's literally at the peak. It's right here. That is the all-time high for Google Trends. This is the all-time high of FOMO, of people buying and going crazy about Bitcoin. It's the all-time high of, interviews on CNBC that you saw with leaders in this space. It's the all-time high of everything. And it's when the most people were interested and intrigued in this space. And now we're at a time in Bitcoin where there's actually even more interesting things happening. The Lightning Network, for one thing, we just talked about Jack Dorsey, CEO of Twitter, getting involved in passing around this Lightning Network torch, right? We have Abra announcing its own news and plans for new investment options, buying exposure to Apple or Amazon with Bitcoin, right? Insanely exciting news. And look at the Google Trends. Nobody's interested. And look at price. It's the best possible investment opportunity, I believe, that we can possibly have right now. barring we maybe go down to $2,000, that might be a little bit better investment opportunity, right? But look at this. Look at like we just came out of oversold on the weekly. The last time we were at that point on the weekly was literally at the bottom of last bear market in 2015, right here. And we're just chilling. And nobody's here. Nobody's watching. It's gotten so quiet. And it might stay this way for a while. It might stay this way the rest of this winter, right? The winter leading into spring right here, leading into summer right here, until we start seeing some moves again in terms of price. And I feel like it's almost unfair, the opportunity that we have. And I feel like I started this live stream excited and pumped up, and I think that's why. I feel very excited. I feel very blessed that I can just build a company in the cryptocurrency space right now. And nobody's really watching. Nobody's really paying attention to how big an opportunity this might be. And I shouldn't say nobody. I mean, you guys are here. I'm here, right? I mean, there's a small group of people here, but the world, not so much compared to where it was last year at all-time highs. So if you're out there, if you're an entrepreneur, oh man, I just want to say, even if you don't know what you want to do yet, just start doing something. Take a risk on yourself, take a risk on ideas, even if you think, oh man, it's a good idea, but people think it's stupid. Just try stuff. Just throw stuff out there. It's the only way to get stuff going. And I'm telling you right now, it's like if you were to look out on the nicest piece of land right now where the nicest community is going to be built, and all you have to do is go claim your little spot of land to start building, because that community is going to be big one day. All I'm saying is go claim your spot of land, And I'm not saying, go buy Bitcoin. That's not even what I'm saying right here. I'm definitely not telling you what to do financially, but if you're an entrepreneur and you want to build something in this space, claim your land. I'm telling you, claim your land and start building. And if the first thing you build doesn't work, knock it down and build something else and keep trying. So those are my thoughts on that. Not that anybody asked, but that's pretty much why I'm so excited. I love it, man. I love getting to work with crypto startups that are hiring executives, engineers, builders, people like way smarter than me. I'm getting to talk to these people. I'm getting to learn from them. And the people in the space are just so creative. They're so inventive. It's crazy. So this is it. I mean, I want to come back to this video one day and just kind of highlight this area right here. And, this is going down to $2,500, which if we go to the daily chart, that area is highlighted as potentially in play right now from a technical perspective, right? So this $2,500 area is right here down to like 2,200. That's very much in play. It's a couple things. It's the bottom trend line of this rising broadening wedge that you see in orange. It's also just around the breakout target to the downside, the height of this symmetrical purple triangle. This $2,200 to $2,500 is in play. We're talking 30% to the downside right now. So be prepared for that. However, it is well within range of this zoomed out chart's bottom that we've been talking about probably since above $6,000 for a few months before we even broke $6,000. This bottom range, so synergistic in this long-term chart with Bitcoin's bottom. And we can talk about this very small yellow line. That's a Fibonacci retracement. Here's the small, very, very small yellow line in this last bear market right here. Right here, that's the Fibonacci long-term retracement to 786. And here's today's 786. So much harmony in Bitcoin. If you don't see it zoomed out, then zoom out. Zoom out. So Tech Lord says, not going to happen. Diver Dan says, no more drops, please. Tech Lords, I think, is saying that we're not going to go to $2,500. Tech Lords, obviously, you know, if you follow Tech Lords on Twitter or see him in the chats here, you know he's a little bit more of a bull right now than I am. But we're both very long-term bulls, and I truly do believe that there is strong potential for Bitcoin to see one more lower low. I just want to be ready for it. I really do. In the next bull run, I'll go for the crypto nomad lifestyle, says Tech Lords. So those are my thoughts, everybody. Very exciting things happening right now. We'll just keep tracking it. I don't know what else to say. I got to get back. I want to get back to recruiting while I have the energy that I have. And I appreciate everybody hanging out with me. It's such a weird time, Wednesday afternoon, 3 p.m. Eastern. Let me know your thoughts below if you're a replay viewer. If you're here and you're not a subscriber, I would love to have you as part of the channel. Please hit that subscribe button. We're going to continue growing this thing as builders build and crypto space grows. It'll happen. Just take some patience. Appreciate everybody coming, hanging out with me on this Wednesday afternoon. I hope you have a great day, a great night. I will see you all in the next video.